thank you very much for inviting a European to be part in this Israeli-American dialogue, and I feel very humble. Humble and arrogant at the same time, because, as Richard said, the Middle East will not impact on the US elections. I will impact on the US elections. The state of the European economy may be very important. In fact, there is a new balance of interest between the United States and Europe. The Europeans tend to look at the United States with huge interest. We're watching US elections as if the Americans were voting for the president of the world. Well, today, Americans are watching with great interest at European elections. There is that new balance, but which, unfortunately for me as a European, is not linked to the fact that there's more Europe. But there is less Europe, a more divided Europe, a more problematic Europe. And paradoxically, most Europeans, according to a study recently published by Pew Research Institute, would vote triumphantly for Barack Obama. But if their heart is clearly in the direction of Obama, their actions, or more precisely their inactions, or their divisions, may be playing in favor of Romney. And I think I was in the United States not long ago, and I sense that interest. Americans are looking with greater interest at European elections. Europeans may be looking with slightly more detached vision at American elections, as if there was not so much difference between Romney and Obama, as if the result of the Greek elections were even more important for them than the result of the American elections. In fact, there is a caveat to that, which is that I can hear some Europeans saying, well, if we behave badly, Romney will probably be elected president of the United States, and that may not be all that bad for Europe, because we will have in front of us the good old bad American against which we can again redefine our identity. Obama was too nice, too pro-European. He made us dream. There was no fear. There was just hope. With Romney, there might be the illusion that some element of fear against the bad American would return. That's the first part, which is American and Europeans looking at each other on the eve of the American election. Let me move to my second topic, which is the Middle East. And here I think again that the word which Stuart Eisenstadt used is the most important one: continuity. Continuity, because when it comes to the Middle East, this is the last thing the Europeans want to hear about. Unfortunately, they are aware that something which can only be compared to the French Revolution has started in the Middle East, something that will be long, that will be complex, that will eventually involve all countries. But our problem right now is not how can we affect those events, how can we impact on this revolutionary process, but how can we protect ourselves from this revolutionary process. We are too much indebted. We can't spend money, we can't spend energy. All our energies have to be centered on the survival of the European project. And unfortunately, we do not see an outside action, a sense of pride for what we do abroad as a rallying flag for Europeans. And in some ways, as much as we have less ambitions for ourselves, I think we have less expectations from the United States. I think there was in Europe, in some parts of the European society, when Obama was elected, a sense of elation. He was going to impose peace to the Middle East. He was going to fly to Jerusalem. He was going to give a great speech that would convince people, that would move people. And we're still waiting. And some are looking at this absence with great relief, some with some kind of disappointment. But so when it comes to 2012 and the challenge of the US elections, there is the feeling that by the end of the day, Romney first or Obama second may not be that different. Not that different for the rest of the world, not that essentially different for the Middle East at large. And I will conclude with some remarks which were asked from me by the other panelists on my country, France, which has witnessed, you may have noticed, a change of majority in the last few weeks. What is the impact of François Hollande victories, or to be more specific, of Nicolas Sarkozy's defeat, on France's relationship with the United States and with the Middle East? And here again, I would use the word continuity, which I would qualify with the adjective minus. It's continuity minus. Continuity minus in terms of style. You have a more discreet, he says normal person, by opposition to the rather flamboyant, energetic, some would say excessively nervous style of the previous president. Nicolas Sarkozy had two weak spots in emotional terms. One was for the United States. The second one was for Israel. He felt emotionally close to these two countries for various reasons, which I have no time to discuss. In the case of Hollande, we return to a much more classical president of the Fifth Republic, one that is more in tune with the traditional policy of the Quai d'Orsay, one which has much less emotion towards the United States, much less emotions towards Israel. But by the end of the day, though those differences are real, they may not make much of a difference when it comes to the reality of daily policy. Precisely because the context is such that the slight temperamental or ideological differences that may exist will not translate themselves in the reality of day-to-day diplomacy. Thank you very much.
Thank you.